Ladies and gentlemen, as I started earlier in the program, Rand Paul, who is, I mean, let's be honest, okay? Let's tell it how it is. This guy is super principled, and you may disagree with him on certain topics at different times, but this is a guy who says what he means what he said. And when he stood up and said all of those libertarian ideals of non-interventionism, of being against the deep state and the big state and all the states, and how he didn't agree with things like the drone program and, oh, gosh, so much principle that sometimes having all that principle becomes almost too much of a heavy burden to bear.
With all that being said, I have changed my mind. I've decided to go ahead and vote for Director Pompeo because he's assured me that he's learned the lesson. Now, time will tell if those assurances are true or not.
Oh, yes,
and I won't say that I can say with absolute certainty I know what his opinions will be and how they will come out over time. But I do take him at his word that he does and has incorporated the idea that the Iraq War was a mistake.
Yes, okay, that's what it was all about. I see. He was holding out until Mike Pompeo said, I actually think it was a mistake.
You know, Mike, Rand's a pretty dumb guy. What you do is you just say, I learned my lesson. One time after our last debate when Rand was dropping out, and I said, you know, Rand, I shouldn't have said that you looked like an inbred mule. I learned my lesson. And he has been such a good little boy for me ever since.
What
just
a good
incredible.
Come here.
Come here, Randy. Come on. And by the way, you want to add a cherry on top? Say that you will work so that less government funding goes to help chink kids with malaria or whatever. Rand loves that. Loves it.
Here's the thing. Politicians change their mind and cave all the time. But if there is another politician who tries to project that he is principled, I mean, honestly, the idea, like, why even come up with, I was holding out to see if he would say that Iraq was a mistake. And finally he did in the last moment. He finally did. Like, what? Like, why even pretend? Why not just go like, oh, I got. Why did you do
it's also,
like,
it's so
do like, oh, I got food poisoning. I got to go. Yeah, vote yes, just because I have food poisoning and I got to run out or something.
Oh, no, I think I see my neighbor. I got to leave. I vote yes. But no, you know, you know what else is so pathetic about that is that this guy, like, and I begrudgingly gave him credit because he and Bernie were the only two to vote to protect Iran from new sanctions several months ago, right? So, and he periodically talks about drones and intervention. So, it's
right,
like
because those are gimme votes.
Those are absolutely
are votes that everybody's like, fine, go ahead.
And this is but this is exactly the point. Those are gimme votes. And what's so amazing though is that when he does and not to say that, like, you know, Iraq still is a dividing line in my mind, but it's like you get the guy to acknowledge the historical reality. Nothing on current policy debates, which you supposedly care about.
Of course.
I broke the seal on that
it's
one.
It's like, right. Look, all right. So this when he's going to announce he's going to oppose the nominations to them. This is where he says, like, I want to make sure that these people will admit that Iraq was a mistake. Here we go.
I'm mostly concerned about the appointment to Secretary of State and CIA, and I'm going to do everything I can to block them. I think that other positions may not rise to this. I've supported several of the president's cabinet picks. I still do support President Trump. I think he's done a lot of good things. In fact, I think the Republican Congress has done a lot of good things. But appointing someone to be a head of CIA who is actively involved with waterboarding someone and was gleefully sort of, just expressing their joy at his suffering, I think is the wrong kind of message to send the world. I have members of my family who are in the actively serving the country, and I don't want the message to be that if members of our armed services are captured, that since torture is okay with the Americans, it's going to be fine to torture Americans when they're captured. And I think that is the message that it sends, and I think this is a debate that's really worth having. Certainly there is a career officer at the CIA who did not directly...
Right, and he doesn't go on with Pompeo, but I imagine if Gina Haspel says, well, it's sort of a mistake. It was sort of a mistake.
Gina said that she regrets torturing those people and putting them under freezing water and simulating drowning and putting electroshocks to their testicles. And I just feel really glad about it now. So I'm going to flip my vote. Time will tell. Maybe she'll be torturing Arabs in Langley again, or maybe she won't. I mean, whatever. But I think we're doing a lot of good things. More people are objectively poor. We're giving a lot of money away to rich people, so things are great. Oh my God, I hate to do this, but I mean, his old like honorable crackpot bigot dad would never flip on those votes. I mean, he wouldn't. I don't.
Well, because he was a congressman, not a senator.
Ron Paul wouldn't. No fan of him, but he wouldn't.